So you've got a great round going, maybe a lot better than you're used to. You're feeling pretty good, range went good, everything's going good. Then you get up to your hole and you got a little bit of an uncomfortable shot and you want to save your round, then you end up kind of doing something like this. Hit it real solid, but you end up just pulling it like crazy and it costs you. Maybe it goes out of bounds, maybe it goes into water, maybe it puts you in an impossible place to get up and down. But regardless of the situation, that more times than often, that pulled shot is what takes players out of their round, and then they end up trying to compensate the entire time. Well, what I want to go over today is how we can eliminate the pull side of the course with two very simple keys, and that is making sure that when we are uncomfortable under a shot, we know for sure that that ball isn't going to go to our pull side. So the first big key when we're talking about this is we understand the acceleration profile of the club. If we tend to, and I'm going to over-exaggerate a little bit because as you know, if you followed me on Top Speed Golf for very long, we know that I like to explain things in extremes, make things very, very clear. If I start slowing down my club very, very soon, that club head's going to want to turn over very, very quickly. If I wanted to speed up my club, that's going to want to tend to open the face through impact more. So we're going to utilize the knowledge of the acceleration profile through impact to eliminate the pull side of the course. Now that may sound a little bit more intimidating than it actually is, but it's actually much easier than you think. If we can make sure that we are speeding up through impact in a certain way, then we can eliminate the pull side of the course. That's the first thing. And how we're going to do this is by using a little bit of audible feedback with the club, and we can sense this a little bit in our hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to hear the swoosh sound after impact. That's going to be the first key. We're going to take some practice swings, and we're going to kind of feel like this club just kind of drops down nice and easy. Then at the last second, we're going to get that swoosh sound. So you can take some swings above the ground where you hear the swoosh sound on the front side of the ball. That's going to be the first key, is getting that club to speed up later in the swing. A lot of players sense this happening more after the ball. That's kind of the feel. That's not actually how it really happens, but that's a sensation. By feeling that and getting the sense of speeding up later in the swing, you're going to get your acceleration profile to err on the side of the club face being slightly open. No matter what kind of swing you're making, it's going to be slightly open to where you are on the downswing. So that's going to be the first key. The second key is making sure that we come underneath the plane. That's a big, big deal, making sure that we are underneath the plane in the swing. Now, being underneath the plane generally means we're going to be swinging a little bit in to out. So you're probably saying, well, Michael, how is that going to keep me from eliminating the side? If I swing in to out, I could hook the ball. Well, not if we are accelerating through the ball properly and we have that swoosh sound. So we're going to be able to start the ball on line, and if anything, it's going to err falling a little bit to our right. So if we draw a plane line, that's going to be up through the hosel of the club, up through the base of the elbow. We know that if this club head gets underneath this plane, then we can come in and hit this ball squarely. If the club head gets over the plane, that's going to make it very hard to speed up through impact because you're going to want to throw the club from over the plane. It's just the propensity that we're going to have. So if we can pair up getting this club head underneath the plane with getting the speed after the ball, we can effectively eliminate the left side of the course. So let's try some out here. So all I'm going to be worried about here is making sure that I get this club to shallow out, and I'm going to get my sensation of feeling like I'm speeding up just after impact. So see there, not the greatest shot, but I eliminated that pull shot. So if we look at what we have here, started off straight at my target, then kind of fell to the right. Now, maybe a little bit more than I want to, but remember what we're talking about here is an uncomfortable situation. Maybe we have a situation here where there's water left, and now that puts me on the right fringe or maybe 20, 30 feet from the hole, depending on my shot. But I know if I'm aimed there, and I know if I execute these two things, I'm never going to miss it left. So I'm going to do this one more time again. And again, this is just guaranteeing, making sure that I'm going to have a ball that starts out decently straight and never falls or goes too far to the left. So that one struck pretty good. That one's going to be a little bit better, but again, all my success here is making sure that I'm missing just right of that target line. So again, my only keys there, and this is just an absolute must on the golf course. If I have something where I have to miss left, I'm going to make sure that I get under this plane and that I speed up feeling like it's happening after the ball. Now there we go. That would be technically another very successful shot because I eliminated that first big hook and I'm eliminating that big number and I can keep my round going. So this is just a go-to swing to eliminate the pull side of the course. Now, the next piece to this is making sure that our club face is square enough through impact, because a lot of players, when they try this out for the first time, they think that they need to leave the club face wide open. We still want to square the club face, we just allow the acceleration through impact to allow that club to stay slightly open to the target. So the most important thing there is when we do shallow out and get underneath the plane, that we are squaring up this club face as we're accelerating through impact. So we can get that ball, like you see here, starting off on the target line, but use the acceleration profile to let it fall to the right. Well, I've got a great bonus for you. Owner and head instructor Clay Ballard has a great lesson called the tennis racket drill that's going to show you exactly how to square that club up. So if you want to eliminate the left side of the course and hit your shot relatively close to the hole, you're going to want to pay close attention to how we want to square this up in the bonus video. You can check out that video in the preview that we're going to play at the end of this video by clicking on the iCard that pops up during the preview. If you don't see that iCard, that's completely fine. You can click on the link in the description below. You can see that entire lesson.
Good player problems. We're going to talk about shallowing that club shaft out as we're starting down, as we're doing this rotating of the face that we worked on in the last video. As we start this downswing, what you'll see with basically all of the top players is, instead of coming kind of over the top and letting the hands come out away from their body, letting the club come out away from their body, again coming down steep into the ball and then having to open up, kind of fillet open the face and add loft to it, the flattening of the shaft should happen as soon as we start down. So as we start this downswing, what we want to have happening here, you can imagine that if I draw a line from the hosel of my club up through my right elbow, that's my swing plane line, my elbow plane. As I go to the top of the swing, I'm going to be slightly above that, and then as I start down, I want my hands to start to shallow out. I want the club to shallow out inside of this elbow plane, and at the same time, I'm going to be rotating.